Okay, YouTube, today I've got here some of my bullets that I pulled off of the wall of shame, as I call it. I don't know if you noticed up here, but I keep mistake bullets up here. And anyway, I'll go more into them later, but if I have a round that screws up really bad, I put it on the wall of shame. Or if it's like a rare piece of brass or something like that, I'll put it on the wall of shame. Well, anyway, these are kind of like my all-stars from the wall of shame. I'm going to go through and basically show you some screw-ups you can be looking for in the hand loading process and the kind of stuff you want to try to avoid. Okay, I like to call this the Neanderthal factor. What happens here is the shoulder of the case gets crushed when you exert too much pressure on your seating die. It's a lot easier than you may think, especially if you've annealed the case or anything like that. I've kind of learned to be real gentle with my seating die and everything, but when you first start out, you're probably going to crush a few cases. If you get in a hurry, it usually happens when you get in a hurry, but I'm going to take a picture of this and show you what it looks like up close. Okay, here we have a 45 ACP case that has been crushed. What causes this is by trying to seat a bullet on a piece of brass that wasn't flared. And you get on a roll and you get in a hurry, it can happen. And you would think that you would begin to feel, a little bit of resistance by the brass. But that's what will happen if you try to cram a bullet on top of a piece of brass that has not been flared. So it's a pretty bad screw up. But this was a 9mm Luger cast round that I loaded up. This is what happens when you try to load a cast bullet that is too large, regardless of flare. Like, this case was flared quite a bit, but regardless of the flare, this particular bullet just dropped a little bit on the big side. And since I'm not sizing them, see, I have to go through and and spot check them in terms of the diameter. And this one dropped just a little bit on the fat side, and it got past my culling process. So as you can see, it gives, when you go to seat it, it screws up if it's a little fat on one side. So that's one thing that'll happen if you try to load a bullet that's too large. This is a 357 mag that I went to crimp, and the crimping die was set with too excessive of a crimp. I'm probably going to have to take a photo of this, but as you can see, there's a ring around the mouth of the case. It's crushed the case into the cannula of the bullet, and it's just way too excessive. I mean, this round would fire, don't get me wrong, but you'd probably develop a pressure that would be considered by most to be unsafe. So I'm going to take a photo of this, but if you end up getting a crimp that excessive, you might want to pull the bullet and have another look at it, or put it on the wall of shame or something similar. Okay, here's an example of a 357 Magnum that was seated way too deep. Again, a lot of these errors I'm showing you, I know there's probably some of the experienced hand loaders out there that are thinking, holy crap, that's so easy to avoid. And it's true, a lot of these errors are human errors. I mean, it's just basic, simple little mistakes. If you're not paying attention to what you're doing, or if you don't set something up right, you'll get these little mistakes. Luckily, as I'm sure you can see, a lot of these little issues that I've showed you, they're easily identifiable. So it's not like you're going to just accidentally stumble across some piece of ammo that's just, super weird. I mean, you're going to see it. But I just thought I would include this video just, for some of you people that are new to hand loading. I can almost guarantee you're going to produce things like this. It's just going to happen. I mean, that's just part of it. So you'll have your little wall of shame going. And for the people that have been following my videos closely, I've got a lot of projects that I've got going right now. and some of them are just taking a little bit of time, but I do plan on following up with some more hand loading stuff and all that. But anyhow, there's your screw ups, and I hope you might have learned something.